Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome to part 9 of making miniature bonsai pots. Today I'm going to finish off my Vietnam style pot, adding all the little details. I placed a damp cloth over top of the pot last night to keep it hydrated. There it is. These two lumps of clay will eventually be little pots also. So I have a new tool today, a little tiny scraper that I think will help me add all the little details. Alright, I'm going to begin by truing up my surfaces again, using this new tool to scrape everything nice and flat. It should work quite well. I can use both ends of this tool too, which is kind of nice. One end is a little narrower. So I'll keep working away. It's quite precision work. I think my hands will be in the way most of the time, so we'll come back for an update and see how it's progressing. I have lots of details to refine on the pot. And it should be fun. It should be kind of interesting work, getting everything looking really good. I like the finishing work on the pots because it's nice to see them taking their final form. It's like a bonsai. Starts off rough and you just keep refining it. So we'll come back in half an hour or so for an update and see how I'm doing on the pot. See how it's looking. Here's an update to the pot. So I'm working away at the details on it. It's starting to get there. Still lots of work to go. So I'll get back to it. My pot is nearing completion. The clay's starting to toughen up and I think it's pretty close to being done. So I'm going to sign it now. So I'll put my initials in here. N R S. And I'll put the date too. 2024. Just like that. So that is signed now. Well, let's have a look at the pot. Here is a look at the pot. So the original pots from Vietnam are made of cement, so it doesn't have to look, perfectly smooth. It's a little rough, but I've got a lot of detail in for the size of the pot. You can see the size of the pot. It's quite small. I've set the pot out to air dry now, so there's all the other pots. So I still have these two lumps of clay here that I'm going to make some more miniature pots. So here I go. So I'll just work on one at a time. I'm going to roll it into a cylinder and maybe make a oval pot or a round pot. Maybe it'll be an oblong pot, the way I'm rolling it here. Okay, I'll cut off my length here. So it sits flat. And I'll cut off the top too. And that'll be the start of the pot. Well, maybe it'll be an oval. It's kind of oval shaped. So, I've got to decide what kind of pot I'm going to make. I was thinking, because this clay's tall, I'll make a fairly tall pot. Yeah, maybe a sort of oval cascade type pot. Might look nice. So I'll start the sculpting. I'm going to reduce the bottom of it, putting some taper to the pot, so I'll start making my groove around the bottom. Take that material away. And then I'll start tapering the top. Get my oval shape roughed in, squeezed in. Now I will skim off the top, making it parallel, and then I can lay out the lip of my pot. That's good. Just skimming off the top. Like that. And then I can lay out a lip. So I will bring the scribe down. Maybe a little lower. Can always make the lip thinner later on. And I'll just scribe a line around. Okay. And then I can start tapering the pot up to the lip. So that's got my basic taper on the pot now. Next, I have to decide what I'm doing with the feet. I could flare them out, kind of flare the bottom, and have like wide spreading feet, which might look pretty good. So I'll lay out a scribe line for the height of my feet, using my handy scriber here. So I'll bring it down, I think somewhere here, maybe even a little lower. There. And I'll scribe a line around for the sort of the top of my feet and the bottom of the pot. Like that. And then I can work on refining. Putting my taper down right to the line. And then I'm going to kind of rough my feet in. And I'll have 4 feet again. Okay, so I think I need to make a bit more, or a few more curves on the pot. So I'll round the bottom. Still not very round, it's a bit straight-sided, so let's carve some more away here. And then I can start blending it in a bit. Well, it's something. That could be the start of the zombie apocalypse. I'll start scooping out the top. So I'm just roughing it out. The whole pot is very approximate at the moment. And as long as it's a different style from my other ones, I'll be happy. I want a wide variety of little pots. Now, how deep am I? I'm getting pretty close to the depth here, I think. So that will do for roughing it in. Now, those feet are very, very tall. I don't want feet that tall.
So I'm going to flip the pot over. Make sure it's pressed down. And I will remove the bottom of the feet. So I'm thinking somewhere about here for the feet. That's where I'll begin anyway. Still sirens going. I think this is definitely the zombie apocalypse. Okay, so that shows me where I can shave off the bottom. So I'll come in with my handy dandy tool. Start removing material. You don't call these miniature pots for nothing. They got to be small. Getting down closer to my line. And the pot's looking better too. Okay. Well, that's got the basic proportions of my pot roughed in. It's looking all right. So now I've got a lot of cleanup work to do, so I'll start with the feet. I think I'll just round out the clay at the bottom. So I'm working on thinning out the upper lip now. It's quite heavy looking. So I'm going to come in even more on the bottom here. I think it's still too shapeless looking. I need more of an undercut here. So you can see that's got the basic pot shape roughed in. So I'm going to let that toughen up a bit and I'll work on the other one, kind of getting that to a basic shape. So here's my other one. And I'll just knead the clay a bit, make sure it's all together. And this one, maybe I'll try making that drum pot out of it. So I'll kind of flatten it to more of a drum shape. So I can either make it an oval drum shape or a round one. And because I don't have a potter's wheel, I might as well make it an oval. Something like that. So now I will come in with my tool once I find it. Here it is. And I'll just clear off my wheel here. Make sure it's kind of in the middle, and then I'll just skim off the sides, kind of getting my oval shape. And it won't be, too far out of round. It'll just be maybe a subtle oval shape. Okay, now I will lay out my top. Bring the height gauge down to maybe there. And I'll draw a line around. And I might as well skim this off. Okay, so that's got my drum shaped pot roughed in. That'll be kind of exciting making it. So now I am also going to scoop out the inside here while the clay is nice and soft. Alright, I think that's got the kind of the inside roughed out.
I'll work away detailing these pots, getting them more and more refined, and then we'll come back and have a look at them. I've got my 2 pots roughed in. I'm going to leave it at that for today, and I have enough left over from hollowing them out to make another pot, so I'll do that. So tomorrow, I think we'll get 3 pots finished. I was happy to get my Vietnam style pot finished today, and I have a few more pots on the go for tomorrow. So that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.